We're coming now to series 4 of these Bothy texts, which will take us through into October. Whoever knows what the situation is going to be like at that point. We'll see what happens. But we're turning to words and gathering. And I want to turn to Matthew 16:18 as the first of these. I tell you that you're Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. What are the things we focus on? Where do we put our energies? We have been so disrupted over these last 5 months now. What we thought was normal no longer seems normal. And that gives us a chance to think and explore and to question. And among these questions that have been brought to a new focus lies this one. What does it mean to gather? As those who follow Jesus, how do we gather? What does that gathering bring? Or what do we mean by it? Or even, what's the point? The choice to name our online events on Sundays as gatherings is intentional and works irrespective of it being online or in the physical spaces that we're used to being in. But the background to that word for me has been the word ecclesia in the New Testament. Over the last 5 weeks, we've taken time around the different ways that Jesus speaks of us as a child of God, as a fruit bearer, as a friend, salt, light, those who follow the call of Jesus. And I want to take that on a wee bit further now by turning to that word in the New Testament, ecclesia, and people called out and gathered together. We're going to look at some of the colours of that word over the next few weeks and try to hear something that speaks to how we are being called out and gathered together, even in these very odd times. Whether we are online or in physical space, we don't know where it's going to happen over these next few weeks. What do we learn from the ways that Jesus and Luke and Paul and others use the word to speak of the gathering of God's people? Those who are following Jesus. How can it help us to think about our gatherings now when we are exploring and thinking and questioning? You may have spotted I'm in the sanctuary of the church here, where in other times we would be gathering and not thinking much about it. But the Bothy text for this week really drives us towards thinking about what lies at the centre of our gathering together. I'm starting with this text in Matthew because Jesus speaks it and it sort of links into what we've been touching upon over the last few weeks, where we're listening to who Jesus says that we are. And we're opening up this new question, which we'll take on into the book of Acts and the letters. On this rock I will build my ecclesia, the gathering. My gathering will build on this rock. The question's going to lie around, what is that rock? That's clearly the question. We'll come to that when we come to Sunday, I'm assuming. But for today, I just want to notice how sparse the declaration is. We've built so much normal into how we gather, what we do on Sundays, the practices and patterns, the expectations, and the things that we don't even recognize we do because they're just the normal things that are done. So many of these things each Sunday. And then in March it all stopped. And we came to a different kind of gathering, one with many different practices and patterns, different expectations, new normals. But these can't become the new restriction of how to do church, of how to gather. We hold all of these things lightly because we will keep going to the words of Jesus and keep asking, what do your words mean, Jesus, for now? And here in this word late in Matthew, the gathering will grow, will build, it will take shape on a rock. The pattern to the gathering is not given here by Jesus, only the rock upon which everything else is built. Come Sunday, we'll have time to look at that rock. For now, I just want to feel the freeing of expectations, freeing of restrictions, of old patterns, of old practices, and open myself to standing on this rock and inviting others, you, to also gather on it and see what we see. Amen.